All right, guys, Castro here, YS Stocks and Options. This is take two, right? Because I gotta have the mic on. So you guys didn't hear anything that I was saying on actually take one. So let's get started here. So the Dow Jones Industrial, that's the first one that we're gonna look at, given that again, you guys couldn't hear me on the first one, the first iteration for this. So we had a failure here, right? So we actually forecasted the Dow Jones Industrial last week to go a little bit higher to test $330. There was a failure. There was a failure. And what we saw Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we saw the Dow Jones Industrial falling until the pivotal point here where it formed a hammer. And then on Friday, rally a little bit higher, right? So for this one, right, looking at the volume, sheer volume in comparison to the candle, right? More buying here, right? Expecting next week, we're going to see the Dow Jones Industrial to test $327.57, right? And it's clearly evident, right, on the CCI, right? If we look at the commodity channel index, right here, see it crossed the buy signal here, right? Boom, and it's definitely trading higher, right? Trending higher, right here. So I definitely super excited for next week because the same thing we're seeing with the CCI. I mean, not the CCI, but the stochastics, right? Percentage K here, trending upward, right? Slight divergence, very, very slight divergence on a percentage delta. So that's clearly evident that this is definitely going to go higher. So testing here, even if we look at the MACD here, right? The MACD price action trending downward, and now it looks to reverse for the upside. So next week we should definitely see some excitement for the upside for the Dow Jones Industrial. We're seeing the same thing here, right? Same thing that we're seeing on the Dow Jones is what is evident on, right, the Russell 2000 IWM. Again, it failed to hit this support area last week. It fell down, pivotal point, and now, right, I have the industrial, the Russell 2000, should I say, the Russell 2000 testing $182.16, right? Evident here, CCI trending upward, stochastics also trending upward. Very, very similar to what we saw in the Dow Jones Industrial. Also the same thing here, look, MACD price action is going upward. As you saw here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, the price action was going down relative to the stock or the ETF. And then we saw it pivot on Thursday, change colors here, right? This price action changed colors here. That means the price went higher, right? So expecting that to follow through into the next week. Let's look at the Qs. NASDAQ 100. Also, now you guys can clearly see a failure here, right? So this is a failure, right? We had anticipated this going higher, but it failed, right? So we're going to delete this one, boom, right? And this was the long forecast that I had on this particular stock, the ETF, not stock, right? It hit that price action superbly, right? It hit it right here, $302. Right, so that was a success. So that trade alone, you know, I bought that one a while ago. It took about almost 2 months to hit. But as we look into next week, boom, pivot here, right? Relative to volume, boom here, right? And look at this. Very, very similar to the rest of the indexes, the Dow Jones and the Russell 2000, right? Very, very similar, right? Look at that, right? So this leads me to believe that we should easily test, right? Easily test. I'm going to go to $312. You know, I'm going to be a little modest with that. I'm going to go to $310.21 for next week. $310.21. That's my forecast for the QQQs. So I did a three-part forecast for this one, ladies and gentlemen. It's something that I was doing with my community. right? Y stacks and options. So I said that $409.58 will be what the S&P 500 is gonna reach a test, this resistance area, and followed by that, falling back to $400.83. So I'm gonna leave this here, right? The forecast is still intact, right? I have this one all the way to the 20th of May, right? So next week, I'm expecting, so I'm gonna carry this over here. I'm expecting this to, right, stay true to that. Next week, testing this prior support area, now resistance, and then we'll see what exactly happens thereafter, right? Again, look at that. Evident the CCI just crossed the buy signal here, right? Just crossed this area. You can clearly see it as well on the stochastics. Now the MACD the price action looks to go higher too, right? And the last thing that I want to show you is the VIX. So we know that the VIX is in correlation with the what? The Russell 2000. I mean, not the Russell 2000, but the S&P 500. So clearly, for this is what we're seeing with the VIX, right? So the VIX, this is a support area that I drew for the VIX here, right? The oscillator itself. Looks like it formed a double top, boom, boom. And if it breaks this support area, right? The next support area that I see the VIX falling is 25.88, right? Roughly, say 25.88. And as you guys notice, if we say, that the S&P 500 was going to go up, we can clearly depend on this isolator, the VIX, the fear index, to go down, right? Because they're opposite of one another. When one goes up, the other one goes down, and vice versa. So if the VIX is going to go down, as we're anticipating here, right, we can clearly see that the S&P 500 is going to go up. So I have a price target for the VIX at 25.78, right? And thereafter, we'll see what it does here, but still expecting the VIX. I'm still expecting the VIX to go a little bit higher, right? I'm gonna say 40.16 here. And the reason for that, because the VIX has been making a higher high, right? Here, 31, or here it made a 35, right? 38, right? 37, right? It's making somewhat of a higher high, been here, then it going higher. So I'm still expecting the VIX to hit 40 hold. And I'm looking for this one for probably say June, July timeframe. I'm gonna say July 1st for the VIX. Here we should expect it to bounce and boom, right? Go a little bit higher for the next few weeks to come, May, June, July timeframe, right? So again, that's the forecast, guys, for each and every one of the indexes to include the VIX. So next week should be a really exciting time in order for us to see what the market does, right? More importantly, getting into some very exciting trades that we're either going to be in or we actually plan to get in on Monday. So if the market goes well and it does well and it holds, right, Monday should be a nice day for the market to go a little bit higher, and thereafter be a nice opportunity for jump into some beautiful calls, right? Call debit spreads and some other good strategies in order for us to make some cash. That knows what you guys think, right? This Castro again, YS stocks and options, great educational tools that we try to provide here. We say always practice logic over emotions, and more importantly, we'll see you guys at the finish line.